Have you been dreaming of a lush, vibrant garden that's both eye-catching and easy to maintain? Ground cover plants might be your perfect solution. Ground covers play a key role in landscaping by protecting soil, minimizing erosion, and keeping pesky weeds at bay. Many of these plants are also drought-tolerant, adaptable to various soil conditions, and require minimal care, perfect for busy gardeners. Plus, their blooms often provide vital nectar for pollinators like bees, birds, and butterflies, helping you create not just a beautiful yard, but a thriving ecosystem. In today's video, we'll explore 10 fast-growing ground cover plants that can instantly transform your outdoor space. Let's dive right in. Leading off our list is Blue Star Creeper, a delightfully low-growing plant that brings splashes of tiny blue blossoms to your garden throughout spring and summer. This versatile ground cover thrives in partial shade, particularly under trees, and adapts to a variety of soil types. In fact, you'll often see it recommended for USDA zones 5 through 9. Because it spreads quickly to form a dense, weed-suppressing mat, it's wise to keep an eye on its boundaries. While it isn't officially classified as invasive, its vigorous growth can surprise you if left unchecked. On the plus side, Blue Star Creeper isn't known to be toxic, making it generally safe for pets and children. If you're looking for a relatively fuss-free way to fill shady spots with color, Blue Star Creeper is a fantastic choice. Next up is Periwinkle, scientifically known as Vinca minor. This charming ground cover is hardy in USDA zones 4 through 9 and quickly creates a lush carpet with its arching stems that root wherever they touch the soil. However, it's worth noting that periwinkle can become invasive in some areas. Its aggressive spread means it'll take over if left unchecked. Always check local guidelines before planting it outdoors. In terms of toxicity, periwinkle is mildly toxic to both humans and pets if consumed in large quantities, so it's best to keep a watchful eye on little ones and animals. Fortunately, it adapts well to various conditions, though it prefers partial shade and well-draining soil. To maintain its shape and prevent rampant growth, trim it regularly. With just a bit of care, you can enjoy periwinkle's lovely lavender blue blooms and glossy foliage all season long. Moving on, we have creeping phlox, an absolute showstopper when it's in bloom. Hardy in USDA zones 3 through 9, this low-growing perennial spreads by runners, producing a carpet of vibrant pink, purple, or white flowers in spring. While it's not classified as invasive, you'll notice that it can spread fairly quickly under ideal conditions. On the plus side, creeping phlox is typically non-toxic to humans and pets. However, as with any plant, it's best to discourage pets or children from nibbling on its foliage. For optimal growth, plant it in well-draining soil and aim for full sun. That's where you'll get the most stunning bloom display. Also keep an eye on soil drainage to ward off any risk of rot. If you're looking for an easy way to fill bare slopes or rock gardens with a fragrant, flower-filled cushion, creeping phlox is a stellar choice. Next on our list is Ajuga reptans, commonly called bugleweed, which thrives in USDA zones 3 through 10. This striking ground cover is known for its purple or bronze-tinted foliage and small, upright flower spikes in spring. It spreads by stolons, runners, that allow it to fill in large areas at a moderate pace. While Ajuga can be a bit aggressive under ideal conditions, it's still generally more manageable than some other fast spreaders. It's also typically non-toxic. However, a few people have reported mild skin irritation from its sap, so consider wearing gloves when handling. Ajuga prefers moist soil and partial shade, but it can handle full sun as long as you keep it adequately watered. If you're looking for a versatile, low-profile ground cover with unique foliage, Ajuga might just be your new best friend in the garden. Next up is Creeping Jenny, a vigorous ground cover known for its charming, coin-shaped leaves that can range from bright green to golden. Hardy in USDA zones 3 through 9, it sends out long, trailing stems that quickly form a dense mat. Do keep in mind, though, Creeping Jenny is considered invasive in some regions, particularly the Pacific Northwest and Northeastern U.S., so you'll want to check local guidelines and use barriers or containers if needed. In terms of toxicity, it's generally considered safe for humans, but as with most plants, it's best to discourage pets from snacking on it. For the best results, plant creeping Jenny in moist, well-draining soil and choose a spot that gets partial shade to full sun. Monitor its spread because if left unchecked, it can easily overtake a flower bed or lawn. When properly managed, however, creeping Jenny can add a vibrant, eye-catching touch to any garden. Next, we have Eastern bee balm, a native perennial to the southern and midwestern regions of the United States. This ground cover is typically hardy in USDA zones 4 through 9, and it's a wonderful choice if you want to attract bees, butterflies, and moths. While its flowering period is relatively short, around 3 to 4 weeks, the soft pink blooms are beloved by pollinators. Eastern bee balm can tolerate both moist and dry soils, making it quite adaptable. It's generally not invasive and isn't known to be toxic, but as with any plant, be mindful if pets have a tendency to nibble. For best results, plant Eastern bee balm in a sunny spot with decent drainage, though it can handle partial shade. Once established, it spreads modestly to create a pollinator-friendly patch in your garden without requiring heavy maintenance. Next on our list is sweet woodruff, beloved for its dainty, star-shaped white blooms and a light, hay-like fragrance. It's hardy in USDA zones 4 through 8, spreading steadily through creeping rhizomes. Though it's not strictly invasive, sweet woodruff can become quite aggressive when conditions are ideal, so it's best used in a contained area or a spot where it can freely roam without overwhelming other plants. An important note, it contains coumarin, which can be toxic in large amounts if consumed by humans or pets, usually not a problem unless someone decides to snack on it. This plant thrives in partial to full shade with moist, well-draining soil, making it an excellent choice for adding charm beneath trees or in woodland gardens. Next, let's talk about the enchanting crested iris, native to woodland areas in the southern and midwestern United States. Often hardy in USDA zones 3 through 8, this little gem grows just a few inches tall, making it an excellent choice for low-maintenance ground cover in shade or rock gardens. Crested iris typically spreads through rhizomes, forming a modest clump without becoming invasive, a plus if you prefer a more controlled spread. Though not commonly consumed, most iris species can be mildly toxic if ingested by pets or humans, so it's still wise to keep an eye on curious nibblers. As for care, crested iris is incredibly easygoing. It thrives in dry or moderately moist soil, and it's happiest in partial to full shade. Come spring, you'll be rewarded with charming, small blooms that add a graceful touch to any woodland-inspired garden. Now, let's take a look at golden ragwort, a versatile ground cover that boasts glossy green foliage and bright, daisy-like flowers. In spring, it shoots up stems about a foot or 2 high, capped with intriguing black buds that soon burst into golden yellow blooms lasting several weeks. While specific hardiness can vary, it generally does well in USDA zones 3 through 9. This plant is quite adaptable, thriving in anything from partial shade to full sun, provided it has adequate moisture. You can plant it along a shady border, near a pond's edge, or even in a sunny perennial bed as long as the soil stays reasonably damp. Golden ragwort isn't typically labeled as invasive, but it can spread steadily under favorable conditions. It's also known to contain some toxic compounds if ingested in large quantities, so be cautious if you have pets or children prone to nibbling on foliage. Next is creeping thyme, a delightful, aromatic ground cover hardy in USDA zones 4 through 9. With tiny evergreen leaves that stay low to the ground, it produces small pink or purple flowers in summer. Unlike some more aggressive plants, creeping thyme spreads steadily without being invasive. Best of all, it's generally considered safe. Thyme is a culinary herb. though large amounts could upset pets if they decide to munch on it. For optimal growth, plant creeping thyme in well-draining soil and a sunny spot. It thrives under direct light. A bonus? This hardy little herb tolerates light foot traffic, releasing a pleasant scent each time you brush against it. Perfect for adding both fragrance and texture to pathways, borders, or rock gardens. Next up is Irish moss, a charming ground cover prized for its dense, bright green carpet. Hardy in USDA zones 4 through 8, it features tiny, star-shaped white flowers in late spring or early summer that add a delicate touch to pathways and rock gardens. While Irish moss can fill gaps quickly, it's generally not considered invasive. It's also non-toxic to humans and pets, so you can plant it worry-free in family-friendly spaces. For best results, provide moist, well-draining soil, and remember that Irish moss appreciates partial shade to full sun, though in hotter climates, a bit of afternoon shade can help prevent scorching. It tolerates light foot traffic, too, making it an attractive, low-maintenance option for those little nooks and crannies in your landscape. Moving on, lamb's ear is a beloved perennial ground cover thanks to its trademark soft, silvery foliage that's almost irresistible to touch. Hardy in USDA zones 4 through 9, it spreads readily by sending out runners. While it's not officially classified as invasive, it can become rather enthusiastic in warmer climates if you don't keep an eye on it. Fortunately, lamb's ear is generally non-toxic, sometimes even used medicinally in small amounts, so it's safe around both children and pets when planted ornamentally. To keep it thriving, place it in full sun with well-draining soil and go easy on the watering, as those fuzzy leaves are prone to rot if kept too damp. With just a bit of attention, lamb's ear will reward you with a soft, whimsical texture that's perfect for borders or filling gaps in your garden design. Next is Lilyturf, a versatile ornamental that grows in clumps of grass-like foliage, perfect for adding texture to your garden. Hardy in USDA zones 6 through 10, though some species can manage in zone 5, it spreads by rhizomes and can fill in quickly if left unchecked. While it's not universally labeled invasive, it can become problematic in milder climates, so it's best to check local guidelines and consider using a border or edging to keep it contained. Lilyturf is mildly toxic if ingested, so discourage curious pets or children from snacking on it, though it's generally considered low risk. It adapts to various soil types and can handle both full sun and partial shade. Once established, Lilyturf is remarkably drought-tolerant, making it a low-maintenance choice for anyone wanting a bit of late summer color from its purple or white flower spikes. Next, we have wild blue phlox, a charming native ground cover from eastern North America. Typically hardy in USDA zones 3 through 8, it's a fast-growing, semi-evergreen plant that offers stunning purple to blue blooms in spring, making it an absolute magnet for swallowtail butterflies. Wild blue phlox thrives in rich, humusy soil, but it can also handle periods of drought once it's established. Maintenance is minimal. Just give it a bit of shade or dappled sunlight, and it should flourish nicely. It's not usually considered invasive, and toxicity concerns are minimal, though it's always wise to monitor curious pets or children around any plant. If you're looking for a low-effort ground cover that supports native pollinators and provides a lovely pop of color, wild blue phlox is a standout choice. Finally, we have Japanese spurge, a shade-loving, evergreen ground cover that forms a dense mat through its underground runners. Hardy in USDA zones 4 through 8, it's known for its thick, glossy green foliage that adds year-round interest to any shady area. Do keep an eye on this one, though in some regions, it can become invasive and push out native plants, so be sure to consult local guidelines before planting. Japanese spurge is mildly toxic if ingested and could cause digestive upset in pets or humans who consume it, but it's not typically a problem unless someone's actively munching on it. To keep it happy, Opt for shade or partial sun, well-draining, acidic soils, and consider boundaries if you're concerned about controlling its spread. With proper oversight, Japanese spurge can serve as an attractive, low-maintenance solution to those tricky, low-light spots in your garden. And as a little extra bonus, let's talk about Goldenstar. Hardy in USDA zones 5 through 8, this charming ground cover produces bright yellow, daisy-like flowers just above its low, spreading foliage. It forms neat clumps through short runners, which makes it a lovely, contained addition to any shaded border or understory planting. Goldenstar isn't considered invasive, and it's not commonly cited as toxic, though, as with any ornamental plant, it's wise to keep pets or children from nibbling on it. For best results, give it partial shade and consistently moist, rich soil. In return, you'll enjoy a cheerful pop of color that brightens up the garden floor without requiring constant attention. To cap off our list, let's take a moment to explore Mondo grass. Hardy in USDA zones 6 through 10, Mondo grass grows in clumps of graceful, grass-like leaves and slowly expands via short stolons. Certain dwarf cultivars spread more quickly than their standard counterparts, so be sure to select the right type for your space. While it's generally not considered invasive, it can become somewhat aggressive in warmer regions if not routinely managed. Thankfully, Mondo grass is considered non-toxic to humans and pets, though it's always wise to discourage chewing on any ornamental plant. One of its biggest draws is adaptability. It thrives in everything from full sun to shade, prefers moist, well-draining soil, and will even tolerate occasional dry spells once established, making it a versatile choice for many garden styles. And there you have it, our roundup of fast-growing ground cover plants that can bring color, texture, and easy maintenance to your garden. Whether you're filling in a tricky shaded spot, covering a sunny slope, or simply hoping to create a lush, weed-suppressing carpet, these ground covers offer a range of options to suit every gardener's needs. Thanks for watching, and we hope you feel inspired to give one or a few of these plants a try. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your fellow garden enthusiasts, and subscribe for more green thumb tips and tricks. Happy gardening!